So moving on to our next story, which will be a long one. Our last two videos on this topic, the Keikaku allegations or stuff surrounding it, have kind of been long, but this one's especially going to be long because there is a lot of info to cover here. So if you guys don't like our long videos, sorry, but there's a lot of info to cover, and we want to make sure we cover as much ground as we can. So let me open this up right here. Okay, so while talking about this, we have a bunch of stuff to cover. We have voice actress Jamie Marchi coming out with her allegations. We have Marchi saying some things that I think were inappropriate, that some people are calling threatening, but I disagree. Vic Mignogna making two different statements, one good, one bad, and then eventually making a statement, an even bigger statement about kind of a, you call it an apology, if you will, another apology, but we'll get to those a little bit later. And Funimation talking about whether or not they will hire Vic Mignogna in the future, and some stuff from Monica Rial, and another accusation that at first I was waiting on. I wasn't even going to report it, but then when some more facts came out about it, I do think it's something that we should be talking about. And also an article from IO9 that we can't read all of it, sadly. I actually want to read all of it really badly, but we would actually probably be here for an hour and a half. So I'm going to read certain parts of it and talk about what I liked and disliked, and Tristan will as well. And we will, of course, link it down below, both on Twitter, right, on Twitch live as we're doing this, and in the YouTube description box down below. Now, let's talk about first, as I was saying this all in order, let's talk about Jamie Marchi's, both her allegations as well as what she was saying about Vic Mignogna. Now, we're going to talk about what she said about him first because that's just how it came up chronologically. And then people were definitely not happy about that. And I understand why they weren't happy about that, to be fair, but at the same time, to call them threats, I don't know if I'd call them threats.
Right. Yeah, like, and this was the
yes,
piece that I mistakenly brought up before.
Yes, because you were under the impression that Monica had brought it up, but no, that wasn't the case. And again, it's just one of those things where it's like it's very hard to follow with so much information coming out. And I know that, you know, I've been following this for a while. Tristan has been following it a little bit here and there, what I brought up to him. But of course, you know, he's looked up a little bit here and there as well. But there's just so much to cover in this that, yeah, like sometimes names do get switched around, and it's a terrible thing. So, you know, of course you want to correct that on the spot. But yeah, anyway, let's look at what she has quote unquote said as a threat. So the first thing she said is, yes, I want his head. I want his balls. I want him to feel an ounce of the pain he's caused others and then fucking choke on it. I want you to take his dick out of your ears so you could actually hear reality. But, you know, that's just me. So again, is that something that I would tweet? No. If she would talk to me about it, which she never would, I don't know this person, but if she had talked to me and said, Matt, should I tweet this? I'd say no. But right, here's the thing, though. To call that a threat, to me, is a little odd. Because she is saying, oh, I would like him dead, but she is not outright saying, I wish him dead. Like, it's a bit different than the supposing that the person did in a YouTube comment for Monica Rial, who had said out loud, hey, maybe she should have a bulletproof vest because, you know, maybe someone will try something.
Right. Or I hope that you're in a car crash.
Right. To Mars Girl. I hope you get into a car crash. Now, again, and even then, I think if you want to say that one is a bit more tantamount to this, so how is that a threat? Remember that in the Mars Girl situation, we also mentioned that a commenter had said to her that there is a war coming and USJW will die.
Yeah.
I think that's a threat. I'm just saying I think it's a threat. So when looking at this one, I don't feel like it's a threat. But of course you wonder, yo, dude, why would you say this? Even though you would think, okay, she must know something that I don't know. But like, damn. And then her next comment, again, one that I would not say, but I think it might have been in response to people saying, oh, but he's so religious. He would never do this. Vic Mignogna believes in religion so much. And so what she had said in response to these allegations, because yes, remember, these are still allegations against Vic Mignogna, she had, other than the pictures are legit, but other than that, there are allegations. She had said, what would Jesus do? Light him on fire and send him to hell. Holy shit. Like, again, like, if you're asking me, don't do that, Marchi. Marchi, don't do it. Marchi, do not do that. Why? Also because even though I want to see here
to event like that on social media is not a good idea.
No, not a good idea. Now, I couldn't find the Jesus one, but I want to give her some type of credit. She has not deleted the comment. Yes, I want his head. I want his bone. She didn't delete that one. And the reason why I give her credit is because if she had deleted it, then all of a sudden you'd have all these people saying, suspicious, isn't it? Even though she deleted it because she'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But no, she's like, honestly, like, I said this, so let's let it stand. So I don't give her props for saying it because, again, you shouldn't have said that. But I give her props for leaving it up.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm not saying that you can't take something down, especially if it was wrong. Like, if one of these videos, we have a wrong fact in there, which is some people, they're like, everything you've said is wrong. Not necessarily. A lot of conspiracy theories going around, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But when talking about, what she said, not the biggest fan. But here's the thing, though. We now realize why she said it. Not excusing why she said it, but if someone's going, why would you say that? You then notice that later, days later, she actually mentioned that she was harassed by Vic Mignogna personally. So let's open up this right here, and you can see that she says, oh no, that's the one that I didn't like. Okay, here it is. Here is her, where she says, I stand with the victims. My experience is minor in comparison to many others. However, having realized this wasn't an isolated incident, I feel compelled to share. So I would have preferred that she had mentioned this earlier. Because if she had, and instead of saying what she had said, then you would go, oh, that's why she, said this, or that's why she's feeling this way. Because when you don't share that, people think, oh, you may have seen it happen, which is a terrible thing, and oh, you may have seen it happen to your friends. I mean, now that we know that Monica Real had said that it happened to her, Marky may have learned that it happened to her and then had gotten so upset. But again, we didn't know about Real at the time either. So we had no context into why she would say something like that about Vic Mignogna. Again, not excusing it, but people are surmising, obviously wondering why would she say that, and we didn't know. And then she talked about her story. And again, if you don't believe the story, that's up to you. But the point is that these are allegations and we want to bring them up because this is newsworthy. This is not someone on Facebook or on Twitter who has a random anime avatar with the name Naruto fan 1245, not trying to discredit them in their stories. But this is someone who is a voice actor whose name is attached to this story. You know when her next con is going to be. You may even be able to know her address because that might be publicly available, and you know the address of where she works. She is in the public eye. No one is saying that you can't lie if you're in the public eye, but I'm just saying that this is newsworthy, this is worthy to report, and frankly, in 2019, you shouldn't even have to say that, but sadly, you kind of have to. So, anyway, let's talk about what she had just said, or what she had said a few days back. Several years ago, I was in the lobby at my job when I was approached by a coworker. This guy gave me the creeps already. Open parentheses, he gave almost all the women at my job the creeps, close parentheses. But I always felt like I had to be nice to him anyway because of how revered he was in the industry. As we said hello, he stood to the side of me and started running his fingers through my hair. Now, I do work in an affectionate industry. We hug a lot, and on occasion, we'd give a kiss on the cheek. But even for an affectionate environment, this felt off. I didn't say anything to him about it, though. It was just his fingers in my hair. I didn't think it was a big deal. At that point, he splayed his fingers, put his hand at the base of my skull, and made a fist. When he did this, he grabbed my hair close to the root, effectively preventing me from moving my head at all. He then jerked his fist, yanked my head downwards and towards him, and whispered something in my ear. I don't remember what he said specifically, but I do remember it being sexual in nature. This was not normal. This was not just a hug or a kiss on the cheek. I did not like it. I have no memory of getting out of his grasp, but I assume, what the fuck are you doing, was part of my technique. Afterwards, I completely and utterly dismissed this experience. I dismissed the way I had been touched. I dismissed having this man grab me. I dismissed having my head jerked back. I dismissed the inappropriate comment. I dismissed this entire encounter. I never reported this event to the company. It actually didn't even occur to me that I should have. Although, if it had occurred to me, I can't say I would have reported him. This guy was worshipped by his fans. He was worshipped by the studios because of his fans. He was the most popular voice actor on the convention circuit. Everyone treated him with kid gloves because he was the one and only Vic Mignogna. Who was I? A nobody in comparison. I didn't matter, and I knew it. Risking being blackmailed from my work and conventions simply wouldn't have been worth it. As I look back on this moment and discuss it with my family and friends, I can see that his actions qualify as simple assault. Would he have gone to jail had I pressed charges? I'm not sure. Why would anyone believe me over a man who holds Bible studies in hotel lobbies? And even if they did, why would they care about the truth if that meant tarnishing the reputation of their favorite voice actor? In the last week or so, I've heard accounts of him doing this exact thing to half a dozen other women that I personally know. I am friends with these women, and we never told each other about these experiences. Some dismissed it, like me. Others felt too ashamed or scared to say anything. I struggle with the guilt I feel for having been so dismissive of his actions. Had I been able to speak up then, maybe less women would have had to experience what happened when they were unable to get out of Vic's grasp. I'm speaking up now because I didn't even think about this event until I realized other women had experienced the same thing. I thought it was just me, and at first I didn't want to say anything because my experience was not nearly as bad as what other people have suffered at the hands of this man. I wanted their stories to be heard first because they were important ones, but in this moment I want the others who I know are out there to hear this. It wasn't just you. It's okay if you didn't say anything to him or anyone else. You are not responsible for what happened. You do not have to be dismissive, ashamed, or afraid. Also, I hope if anyone ever goes through a similar experience, they will know from the start that their body is not up for debate. Their body is not property of the most popular person in the room. Their body is not responsible for a company or a show or an art form. Their body is most definitely not responsible for the reputation and livelihood of a predator. Okay, so I want to break down a little bit of this here and there. Not too much of it, because again, we would be here all day if we broke down every single thing that we'll be talking about in this video. So, talking about the fact that she wasn't well known, I think now, from what I've seen and heard, she's a lot more well known in the anime dubbing community. However, looking back, there was a time when even Vic Mignogna was a lot more popular than I think you and I and anyone out there is giving him credit for. So clearly, and also even now when looking at his fans, the second people get a whiff of something that might be suspect, instead of going, well, that seems suspicious, maybe let's take this one accusation and throw it away. Every single one is thrown away.
Yeah.
Like, in hearing how much they love Vic Mignogna, and people being like, come on, people don't love Vic Mignogna this much. Looking at the people that are being harassed, and not Jessica Markey, looking at, because I'm not saying she hasn't been harassed, but I haven't seen anything personally that isn't just a response to some of the stuff that she said that was inappropriate. But looking at Monica Reel being harassed, even before she came out with her Vic Mignogna story, just saying that she believes people, looking at Mars Girl saying getting harassed, someone who is not even a voice actor, is not even a member of the anime dubbing community. Literally, she is just someone who discussed this recently and is now liking stuff that, stuff on Twitter that talks about people's stories and things like that. But she in no way is, and hell, she's not even threatening Vic or anything like that. This is Mars Girl. She's literally saying Vic needs help, if these are true, and Vic also would need to be thrown in jail. That's what she's saying, but people are trying to make up these conspiracies about her, and not just about her, but just conspiracies in general that we'll talk about in this video as well. None about Markey, interestingly enough, I believe. But still, all these conspiracy theories. So, when you see, like, someone saying, like, no, like, he's really beloved, like, he has a lot of people that love him, like, ride or die, love this dude. And someone goes, really? Is that the truth? Because they might not know much about his fan base or some of his, and not all of his fans, of course. Because to be fair, like, I have all the movies that he's in Dragon Ball Z wise. I don't have Super Broly just yet, but I have all three Broly movies. Tristan, you have all three Broly movies as well.
I mean, at one point, I would have said I was a fan of his. I am no longer.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to be. Because even if you want to say that the allegations aren't true, there's pictures, and there's video, and so I'm not saying that everything is there, but you can't hand wave the pictures in the video, even though some people are trying to. Again, we'll get to that a little bit later. But when looking at Markey's account, of the situation, again, should she have outright said, and this is the article again, will be posted down below. Should she have said what she said about Vic Mignogna? No, she should not have. But at the same, the stuff, about like, oh, I want his head and stuff like that, she shouldn't have said it. But again, for anyone wondering, but why would someone say this? Again, this is why. An excuse? No, but a reason. And I think some people don't like to look at excuses and reasons differently. They think of them one and the same. Or like if your boss asks you, why were you late for work? And you're like, oh, there was traffic. No excuses. Wait, no, but sir, you asked me why. Like, no, sir, but I didn't come tell you why. I legitimately asked me why. If you want to ask me why, then hear why. Like, this is a reason. So if you're asking why, Marquis would come forward with this, or why Marquis would even say what she, or rather you would ask why Marquis said what she said. This is why. If you're asking why she would come forward with this, clearly it's because other people have, and she realizes, wow, wait a minute, I'm not alone. Now, I would argue you could have done a quick a quick Google search to see if you were not alone. And I'm not blaming her for it, because again, I don't know her and Monica Rial, and looking at how old they are, they're not in their 50s or their 60s, but I don't know how internet savvy they are. Because for me, right, if I'm thinking like, oh my God, this happened to me, and it's by someone famous, I'm going to go on Google. And even though I wouldn't want to be the first person to come out and talk about this, I'm going to go on Google and see what's up. All right, guys, so we had some technical difficulties. So I don't know exactly what was the last thing that we said, because we're doing this live. We're cutting it down for YouTube, but we had some technical difficulties. It's rough trying to be live. However, if you can hear Patchy right now, you know that everything's going to be all right.
Okay.
She's purring really loud, and it's beautiful.
I know.
It's
I
soothing
can't
my
control
soul.
The cat.
No, it's soothing my soul, because we need that when talking about allegations like this and people coming forth with their stories. We haven't heard Vic actually comment on this necessarily.
Right.
But he did comment about something in general, and we posted in the chat, so I want to show you guys here what he commented on. They weren't apologies. He technically sort of made another statement / apology, but this was not it. This was now I feel like thrown off. What he does is he actually denounces any violence that has been said in his name. I think maybe he finally heard about what people were saying to Monica Rial and even to others. I don't know if he knows. I don't think he knows Mars Girl at all. Like, according to Mars Girl, they've met like 4 times. So like clearly like, they don't know each other. She's not a VA. So, and she's not, going to every con or something like that to see him. So either way, though, I think Vic is mostly referring to stuff that he may have seen about Monica Rial. Maybe someone sent him it and he was like, oh God, like, regardless of what you believe about Vic Mignogna and what has been alleged about Vic Mignogna, I don't think the guy wants people dead.
No.
Like, I don't think the guy wants people dead or getting sent death threats. So anyway, so he said, if you're watching the video, you see what he's saying. If you're not, we'll read it out to you right now. And again, it will all be posted down below in the description box as well. It says, Vic has said, it has come to my attention that there have been threats made towards others by fans in support of me. Let me be perfectly clear, that's in all caps, that I would never, in all caps, condone anything approaching this whatsoever, and I call upon anyone doing this to, and then he says in all caps, stop this immediately. And then he says, there is way too much hate in the world today. Please spread love and understanding. Instead, hate met with hate never, ever solves or improves anything. Be kind to one another, always. So I think right there, when you see that, again, regardless of what you think about Vic Mignogna, like some people are down below think that we're extremely biased towards Vic Mignogna, like against him. But we sit here and we see this comment and we're like, good job. Not sarcastically, not facetiously. That is a good thing to say. Like, he should never have said what he said in the Discord chat to the Rissenbull Rangers, to his official fan club. He should have never said in that Discord chat, hey, if you see anyone saying something online, call them out on it, because to some people, they're going to take that and go a bit too far. So Vic Mignogna should never have said that. He could say whatever he wants to the Rissenbull Rangers. He could say, hey, I think that they're lying, even though if you say it in a public group and someone screenshots it, then we're going to call you out on it, especially when in his first public apology, he said that, oh, I feel so sorry if anyone has felt this way and such, etc. And then in the Discord, he says that they're lying. It's like, well, you kind of went against that apology, bud. But I have no problem with him saying that, because here's the thing. Vic Mignogna is allowed to say, hey, I didn't do it. Like, even though someone's going to say, well, I don't believe that he didn't do it, still Vic Mignogna doesn't have to say, well, I did it. Like, Vic Mignogna is allowed to say, I didn't do it. Regardless of what you, especially, when it comes to the pictures, you can say, well, no, you did that. You did that. There's pictures, there's video, you did that. But when it comes to anything else, Vic Mignogna is allowed to say, like, I didn't do it. Like, he's not bound to say, of course I did it. So I'm not going to shame the guy for saying I didn't do it. The problem is he said it to his fan base, coupled with, oh, and if you see anything, you should say something. And it's like, that's gonna lead to some bad stuff. So thankfully he said this, and I saw this and I was like, well, good dude, good job. Like, not being facetious. Thank you so much, Vic Mignogna. And there was some
argue it's a bit late, but
well, no, but the thing is that, again, I don't know. He's a 56-year-old man. I don't know because we've been talking about other people and their internet competency. I don't know about this dude's internet competency.
Right.
Like, I don't know anything about how well he navigates the internet or not. I mean, he has in the past talked about people who he was saying, like, oh, I don't like these 4chan trolls who are saying things about me. Like, he said this back in the day, but I don't know if that was sent to him. Like, I don't know if Vic Mignogna is on 4chan consistently,
Right.
you know? Like, I don't know him, and I don't know, like, you know, he's a 56-year-old man. I don't know his internet competency. What I do know is I'm happy that he said this. But then, you would think he would leave it there. But leave it to Vic Mignogna to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory. Vic Mignogna then says, which out of this context, is not a bad thing to say. It's not a bad thing to live by, because it is accurate. He says, please remember, there are always two sides to every story. Now, he's not wrong. There are always two sides to every story. Although some people say there's three sides. Your side, their side, and the truth. But you could say, okay, there are two sides to every story. But why are you going to say that after, like, you just had people going like, thank you so much for denouncing this hatred in your name. Anyone who hates people in your name now and sends out death threats, which have still happened even after he said this. People are still getting harassed even after he said that. But you know what? As the actor who it's happening, in their name, I don't know if that's the right way to word it, it's okay that he denounced it. But then saying, please remember, there are always two sides to every story. It's like, dude, we know, but just take a step back, man. Yeah. Like, talk to a lawyer, take a step back, see what, and it seems like other people as well, their voice actors have talked to lawyers, and they've also stepped back from Twitter. Just take a step back from Twitter, and just don't do this, unless it's going to be something productive, right? Unless you're going to make a statement that's productive. Don't just make one that makes people think about sides. Because I think that's the one thing about this whole situation that frustrates me. Anyone that says, well, your team is saying this, don't fucking say that.
Right.
Don't fucking talk about this like there's teams and like there's winners. Yeah. Nobody is winning in any of this.
No, exactly.
Nobody is winning. Vic Mignogna isn't winning. Jamie Markey isn't winning. Monica Reel isn't winning. Yeah. Mars Girl isn't winning. We aren't winning. Right. We don't have monetization on these videos. Sure, some people are watching us, but that means jack squat if you're watching these videos and then you never see us again, which you can tell right now. The numbers are showing that. Yeah. That's just what it is, dude. Like, no one is winning. But when someone talks about teams and like there's sides and your side says this, our side says that, stop being tribalistic for just 1 second and think about there are allegations. And Vic Mignogna has counteracted some of those, but he's not talked about all of those. Now, with the IO9 article, which we'll get to a little bit later, he has talked about some of those a bit more than I thought he would ever talk about some of these until potentially getting a lawyer involved and being in a court of law. But still, it's like there are so many people online trying to talk about sides and teams, and it's like you guys really have to stop, because this isn't about anyone winning.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about... Yeah. What were you going to say? Sorry?
No, go ahead.
No, because I think you just said this isn't a game, which is true. This is not a game. No one is winning. This isn't an anime.
Not about winning or losing on your side.
Exactly. Now, Funimation did make a statement about this as well. I actually did not think they would make a statement about this. And interestingly enough, I would argue, because some people were saying, hey, they probably shouldn't have even made a statement about this. And normally I'd go, I agree. But I think the thing is, when you have this many people talking about this online, and a lot of people are, some in the anime community, some outside the anime community, when you have this many people talking about it online, you gotta say something about it, I think, as a company. Yeah, so they said, everyone, we wanted to give you an update on the Vic Mignogna situation. Following an investigation, Funimation recast Vic Mignogna in Morose Monokian Season 2. Funimation will not be engaging Mignogna in future productions. Part of our core mission is to celebrate the diversity of the anime community and to share our love for this genre and its positive impact on all. We do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed by anyone. Now, they should have said diversity, because there actually is a lot of diversity in the anime community, and there's been a lot of diversity for years, even before Tristan and I, and probably you watching this video, were born. But what happened is, they said diversity, and then the people who don't like diversity got a hate boner. And then all of a sudden, due to that hate boner, and by the way, that's a term that we are using, because when you see the amount of vitriol around this, you're like, whoa, that got someone who did not like diversity very upset. So why am I talking about this, right? Because people then said, hold on, Funimation did an investigation. I would like to see this investigation. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't know you were an officer of the law. Oh, I am not. Oh, I didn't know you were a lawyer. No, I am not. Well, then the question is, who the fuck are you? Because who the fuck are we if we were to ask for this? So who the fuck are you for asking for this? And the problem is that no one has any reason other than, I want to see the information. But the issue is that it's information that we're not privy to. Now, you can disagree with the verdict, honestly. You can say, hey, was it a bit too quick? And Monica Real's statement on it earlier that we mentioned, she said it was not quick. She said it's actually been happening for a while. But you could still say, hey, was this one a little bit too quick, though? Because it feels like it was only a little over a week or a little like around 2 weeks. And then the the Rooster Teeth one for Ruby was definitely very quick. That was a few days, right? So you could say, hey, I feel like it was a bit too quick, okay? But then all of a sudden when you're like, I need to see this, otherwise the investigation was not conducted well. Again, who are you, dude?
Right. What authority do you have to say whether the investigation was
conducted
correctly?
Yeah, and another thing, too, that I want to add, you can boycott Funimation. Like, you're allowed to legally boycott Funimation.
That's your choice.
Yeah, like, we're not saying that you have to watch Funimation, you have to watch dubs. Like, nah, dude, do your thing, right? Whoever you are, and I use dude gender neutrally. Do your thing, man. I use also man gender neutrally, but seriously, like, do your thing, right? I'm not saying you have to do this, you have to conform. Funimation's a corporation, right? People know how I feel about corporations. Like, I'm not sitting here like defending Funimation, but what I'm saying is who are you to ask for this information, though? Like, who are you to demand this information, especially when, if you love your guy Vic Mignogna, if you consider him your guy, if you do, like, if you're sitting here like, Vic Mignogna, I love him so much, I pray for him every night, he is amazing. If you do that, I'm not being facetious, I'm being serious. If you do that, then you should know that if they release this information, it could hurt Vic Mignogna in court and them in court. If there is a court case ever, and if you want this to go to court, you're someone who's saying, yes, I want this to go to court, I want Vic Mignogna to win, I want everything to go in his favor, the best thing you can do is to let this happen behind the scenes until it goes to court, and then maybe we're privy to that information. Right? Maybe that trial is public, and then people know about that.
Right. An official publication of the trial itself.
Yes, exactly. If it came to that, yes. But in this situation, if you love him so much, you're going to want to stay quiet on it. Now, again, you can say whatever you want to say. It's a free country. No death threats, right? No threats of violence, like we've been saying. But other than that, look, man, it's a free country. You do what you want to do. But if you're saying that you support Vic Mignogna, the best thing to do is to not have this come out. And again, like, even if it did, who are you? Like, you're going to look at the statements and you're going to maybe look at pictures and video. Apparently, there's pictures and video, and those have been, people have been trying to discredit those. And we'll talk about that a little bit after this. Because we've talked about the conspiracy theories the entire episode, but now we're actually going to delve into them. So when you look at the situation, you're like, what is the thing is the fact that people talk about entitlement, and sometimes I think that word gets a little bit overused, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know if this is considered entitlement. I think that's someone's, if they're a consumer and they want this, then they can say, hey, I want this. Now the company can say no, right, because they're not entitled to it, but still I think that sometimes entitlement gets overused as a word. In this case, though, this is entitlement. This is what the textbook definition of it is. You think that you are entitled to this information despite the fact that you are a person on the internet who has no background in law, who is not Vic Mignogna's lawyer, because if you were, not DM, but email Funimation, you're not
part of Funimation.
Yeah, you're not. That's the thing. Like, you are not in any way involved in this. And also you should know as well, for anyone saying, but this investigation, how do we know that it wasn't conducted, in some dark room or something? Remember that Funimation is owned by Sony now, which means that Funimation, if they didn't have it before, which they did, they have a rather large HR department who probably don't even, like, it's funny. When you're in a company that is so large that you have an HR department that is also quite large, sometimes you don't even know who those people are, usually. Like, when you hear, you're like, hey, who are those people? And you're like, it's HR. And you're like, oh, shit. Someone's in trouble. like, you know, or like something's been scheduled. Because when you're in I think some people are still thinking that Funimation is like a really small company that they were in their infancy. Where it's like, yeah, Vic Mignogna is there every once in a while, and Chris Sabat dubs everything. Chris Sabat is every voice, including the women, including the pets. Like, no, like things have evolved and changed and gotten so large in this company that you have an HR department involved here. Now, we don't know if they've done an external investigation, yes. But again, you have an HR department who literally doesn't even know these people. They don't even go to cons, and they probably don't even look up what goes on at cons, because all they care about is what goes on in their office. Right? And that's all that matters when you do that internal investigation at Funimation. What's going on in their offices? They're not looking for people online to see what they have to say. Who cares when it comes to Funimation's internal investigation? Want to make that clear. Not who cares in general, but when it comes to internal investigation, they're interviewing people who worked there, or potentially do work there now. Maybe not people who worked there in the past, but people who work there now. What do you have to say about this guy? Why are you coming to us about this guy? Because Monica Rial said they came to executives at Funimation even before Vic Mignogna was Broly. So this has potentially been stewing for a while. But still, even though this was, people were saying this before Monica Rial made her statement, people are still saying, we deserve to get these documents. Now, let's get to the conspiracy. The part that I think some of you have been going, oh God, there's a conspiracy. So here's the conspiracy, right? And I don't know how to say this without dismissing it outright. Now, before anyone says, how dare you, I didn't dismiss this outright before looking into it. People were saying in our last video, our last follow-up video, they were like, hey, can you check this out? And I was like, hey, sure, I'd love to check this out. And then when I checked it out, I realized, oh, people are peddling dumb conspiracy theories. But you know what? Let me actually say what it is before denouncing it as dumb, even though all of you already despise me. Now, there are some names here that I wanted to blur out, and I wanted to protect these people's identities, and I'm very sorry that I was not able to do that. But the reason why we're not doing it in this case is because these pictures are literally being shared across the internet. So I feel really bad for these people. I hope that they're doing okay. But we still want to, report on this. And again, I feel really bad not blurring out their names. But again, if we blur out their names and we say, and also check it out online as well, if you don't believe us, people will immediately see their names irregardless. So that becomes the issue with some of the stuff being online. These names should have been blurred in the first place. But now here we are. So why is this a conspiracy of some type? Well, there are a few pictures. As you can see if you're watching the video, there is this first one. But I'm also going to show you guys another one as well as we're talking about it. Now, Tristan, what do you think about this conspiracy? As I'm getting the picture ready, what do you believe about this wonderful conspiracy?
Well, I mean, it's looking at these. Yeah, the term is.
No, not that. That's later. We're talking about the conspiracy that's the crazy thing about this, right? There are now two conspiracies. No, that we'll be talking about a little bit later. No, we're currently talking about the alleged woman who photoshopped all of the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the fact that does not seem to be the case.
Yeah, it was a public Facebook group, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So it was it was actually a private group.
Oh,
so it was a group that you could join, right? So this woman joined the group. Alleged woman joined the group. I say alleged for a specific reason. So she joined the group. Her name was Valerie Depa, and she said, and we're going to read exactly what she said in case you're listening to this. You should Photoshop that picture so it looks like Vic's hand is on your chest. That way no one can claim that it's out of context, and it makes Vic look worse than he is. So again, this is a private group that she was invited to. She asked to be invited to it, and people invited her to it. And then someone by the name of Marion McHarren, frankly, I want to say these names now because these people are troopers and amazing. They say, nah, falsifying evidence is gross. Valerie Depa says, even if it helps make Vic look bad. And Marion McHarren says, even if it makes Vic look like Hitler. Valerie Depa then says, oh, that would be fun. Someone should add that Hitler mustache to him. Then again, we already know he hates Jews. And then Mark Wintersmith says, Valerie Depa, why would you even suggest to edit evidence. That would pretty much throw it all out in a case of law, and it would bring doubt to other allegations. If anything, this would help him. Valerie Devitt says, not if the Photoshop looks convincing. And now he's extremely upset. This is Mark Wintersmith says, there is always a way to figure out if something is shopped. It also does not help you when you talk about photoshopping a pic in a public group where anyone can see it. Now he claims it's a public group. I've heard it was a private group that she was invited to. Let's go on the but let's go on the assumption that either one is irrelevant because she is in this group and she is saying this. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I've been denouncing this conspiracy, and some people, again, are definitely upset about this, I say it only because this is not a smoking gun. People are telling me this, like this is a smoking gun, and I'm sitting here going, wait, so out of a conversation with 3 people, 2 out of 3 people said, don't Photoshop things, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing to me. I want to praise that group, because 2 out of 3 people are saying, don't do that, you suck.
Right.
And here's the thing, too. When people say, oh, but that means that the pictures could be Photoshopped. My question is, where are the Photoshopped pictures then? Because I've seen pictures, and you guys have seen pictures as well. We talked about them in our older videos. We're not going to dredge them all up. You guys have seen the pictures. I know that if you're watching this at this point, you've most likely seen the pictures. So, was Vic Mignogna just randomly standing with his arms open with nobody in it, and then somebody was photoshopped in the picture?
Yeah.
Like, what photoshops are actually not as convincing as some of you guys think they are, which I'll actually show off a little bit later with a fake Pridemore tweet that some of you guys may have seen flash on the screen a little bit earlier. So Photoshops are not as convincing as you think, especially by people who don't know what they're doing. And people that do know what they're doing, you can still tell. Like, this Wintersmith guy is actually on point. You can always tell. So what pictures are they? See, no one has actually shown me a picture and said this is one that's been Photoshopped. They're just saying this proves that all the pictures could be Photoshopped.
Right.
But a lot of things could happen.
Yeah.
Like Apache could be a shape-shifting alien just watching us, waiting for her time to strike. Or maybe don't fucking believe a conspiracy theory. Again, I don't know, like, because here's the thing, right? There are people in our comment section who have had amazing discussions with us and have said amazing things to us, and we have said same things to them, mostly me. No one else really commenting down below from us other than me, but still, we've had amazing conversations about this situation and talking about the ins and outs. But if we can't even agree on the fact that pictures exist, there's no, I feel bad because I want to have a discussion, but what discussion can be had?
Right.
If we can't even agree that pictures exist? If we've gotten to the point in this discussion where now pictures just can't even be believed. Not, oh, I don't think Vic meant that. Because early on there were some good faith actors coming in saying, I don't know if Vic Mignogna meant that. Like, I don't know if he meant to hurt people. And I said, well, intent doesn't equal impact. He might not have meant to hurt people, but looking at some of these pictures and people saying with their face attached to it, hey, I'm the one that was hurt.
Yeah.
Therefore, they were hurt. He didn't mean to, perhaps, but they were hurt. But if we can't even agree that those pictures exist, again, what conversation can be had about all of this?
Right. Where do you expect the conversation to go?
Where
or even start?
And even start. Yeah, and for anyone saying, but Matt, how, why can't you believe in this, right? Why can't you even try to believe in this for a second that someone could have photoshopped these pictures? You want to know why, Tristan?
Well, yeah, you've told me why.
Okay. Fuck you. Would you like to know why, a person out there? Well, I'll tell you why. Would you like to know why, Apache? Well, I'll tell you guys why. So, early on, when the pictures were coming out, there was one woman who said, hey, that picture of me, I am actually not upset at this. She had red hair. She's been blurred out in some pictures. And it's so interesting, too, because some people online are like, she's blurred out to make it look more sexually suggestible. It's like, no, it's to protect her identity, you fucking knob. Anyway, so still, she said, hey, actually, I was cool with Vic Mignogna hugging me like this. I know I look a little bit concerned, but actually, I was just fine with it. People are trying to say I was 20 at the time. I'm actually only 21 now. This picture was taken in 2012, and my mom was even cool with it. She was there with me. So I'm not upset about this picture. I think there was even one with her being kissed on the cheek. She was saying, hey, I'm not upset. And so we go, oh, okay, don't, like, sorry that was being spread. We didn't spread that picture because we had not reported on that that early on, but people were spreading it. So it's good that that gets taken out. But then people were saying, wait, if she's come out and said that picture, that, you know, that she wasn't upset by it, that means that all of the allegations that were pictures are false. And it's like, no. Women have come out and actually said, hey, this is my face. This is me. You can see me in my own profile of my Twitter. I'm not okay with this picture. And this is what Vic Mignogna had done to me. And again, we talked about all that. We're not talking about it again. But the thing is that now so people were trying to discredit it early on by saying, see, this woman, right, because she is saying that she wasn't upset by it, then nobody's upset by it. Now I'm supposed to believe that every single picture has been photoshopped.
Right.
Look, if you want me to believe a conspiracy, then pick one. I can't. How many conspiracy theories can I believe at one time?
Right.
Seriously, I know I sound like a dick, but I'm being serious here. How many am I supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe that because she denounced all of her picture, that all of the pictures are not to be believed, or that all of them have been photoshopped? In fact, why is her picture not photoshopped, if that's the case?
Right.
Why has her picture not been photoshopped? Is she even real? Is she Hatsune Miku? I don't fucking know. What? Who is this because people are just telling me, oh, no. All of them have been photoshopped. Look at this Valerie Depa person. Clearly they've all been photoshopped. Not taking into account the fact that Valerie Depa has actually come out. Granted, has not shown her face, but has actually come out through a friend of hers and also through some posts on her live journal that I will be finding and will be posted in the description box of our YouTube channel. I don't have them right now, but I will find them again before this makes it to YouTube. And the fact that she has said, hey, that's not me. That's actually a fake account of me. Someone made a fake account that is not me, and I'm so sorry. I can't believe that was said. Now, here's the thing, right? Some people are saying, I don't believe it. That was her. But again, here's the question. Where are the pictures? You're saying that there's photoshopped pictures. Right. Where are they? Where are all of these photoshopped pictures that everyone's talking to me about? Because I've not seen one person actually show me a picture that could be photoshopped. And even if it is, even if you show me one picture that's been photoshopped, okay, then let's discard that.
Right. Or that the idea that because there is one fake account saying that they should edit photos of Vic Mignogna, that means
everyone.
All of the photos and everyone that talks about this is lying or photoshopping photos.
And again, you can literally see in the comments, which I don't know why people will even, it's crazy how people even read it and read it in YouTube videos. And you're like, oh, you're reading it, so you're getting it. And they're just like, this one person. And it's like, bro, like out of 3 people, 2 out of 3 said fuck off. Yep. That's some great odds, especially when they didn't know that this was going to be leaked.
Right.
Like, that makes me more proud of this group. Now, they've shut down their operations, so sadly, you're never going to really see stuff outside of the stuff that's been, screenshotted online, which is sad because I would hope that they were open so you can see them go, hey, look, we refuted this shit. But, of course, these are just real people, like normal, everyday people, not like, big celebrities getting caught in this. These are everyday people who are like, man, I want to go to my fucking 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And now my shit's getting posted online. So... And again, I feel bad, but even if we had, blurted out all their names, again, so many other publications have posted this. Not even publications, so many other YouTubers and people on Twitter have posted this that, sadly, it's one of those things where we'd be fighting against the tide when someone tries to look this up, and then they'd see it. So, so this is one conspiracy that's going around. And again, the reason why I just... am so against it because I was so interested in what this was. I was like, hey, if we see her like live streaming, editing photos, or if I see the photos around, I'd be like, damn, dude. But even in other YouTubers' videos, I did not see any photos that were photoshopped. What how are you just gonna say, oh, this clearly shows that photos have been photoshopped and they're just trying to get Vic Mignogna when you can't even show me the photos? Pick at least one, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I say again, do gender neutral. Like, pick just one and say this is what's going down here. And it's very
keep linking conspiracy theories together.
No, and it's just so frustrating to me because we forgot to tie this in with the Mars Girl stuff, but this one YouTuber that I've been seeing, and look, I don't know the guy personally, so I'm not gonna shit on this dude's personal life. I don't know him, but this one YouTuber named Yellow Flash Guy 2. I tried to look up all of his content surrounding this because I didn't want to get him out of context. And he's been bringing up this conspiracy theory, and again, not like, first of all, he didn't mention that it was a fake account in his first video, because he seemingly doesn't take the time to look into something. He says that he does. So he has said, hey man, he says, hey guys, I'm looking into this, but a video will come out literally an hour after allegations come out. Now, I'm not saying that we're so much better because we took 2 fucking weeks to come out with the video. I get it. We took a long time. But at the same time, though, you just, especially with some of the issues that we've had during this, we're not claiming to be perfect. Believe you me, right? With some of the technical difficulties and other picture difficulties and things like that. Don't get me wrong. But it is just frustrating to see someone, come out and talk about this with such a huge following, too. And it's great that he has a huge following. Like, more power to him for having a huge following. But when you have that following, you have to do your due diligence, and you have to be responsible. And even when he did mention, oh yeah, it seems like it was a fake account or something, didn't even mention how that could mean that the photos weren't photoshopped, and never showed one photo that could potentially be photoshopped. Like, if you're going to make these allegations, make them, but have something to back it up. Like, even people that are like, yo, aliens exist, conspiracies, they show photographs. Whatever you think about the photographs, they show you the photographs. And when people say, no, we're going to debunk this conspiracy theory, they show you photographs of why that photograph was wrong. Here's the thing, though. There's nothing for us to debunk because no one has actually shown a picture of a conspiracy theory. And that's the biggest issue in all of this. For me, anyway.
Right. There haven't been any alleged Photoshop photos that have come forth.
No, and if they did, oh, believe you me, I would love to check them out and talk about them, right? But as of right now, I've seen none. No one has brought any to the table. So I'm sitting here like, so you're bringing this up, and literally all it's there to do is just to, create doubt and say, see what those Kick Vic people are doing? They're creating Photoshops. And it's like, well, where are the Photoshops? That's not relevant because I already believe that Vic didn't do it. Oh, well then just say that. Like, just be honest, right? Like, I appreciate honesty. If you just want to say, no matter what comes out, I want to believe Vic, then so be it, right? But I appreciate honesty. But when you sit there and you're like, no, this clearly proves that nothing happened. It's like, no, it didn't. It proved that 2 people in a chat, in a YouTube, and a Facebook page actually were good people. And we're like, yo, we don't care what you're doing. Get the fuck out.
Right.